In this video, we have some carded coins. In my last video, we went through several other coins that I purchased from this dealer. Everything here, I paid a total of $1.45 for, but the entire lot is was going to have a combined price written on them of $50 when you include the $1.45 up in that top stack. So he had a deal that if you got to $50, it was 10% off. And so I'm really paying $45 for everything in here. The last video went through all the cheap things because otherwise this video might run too long, but I wanted to go ahead and get some of the cheaper ones out of the way because there's some really good ones. Maybe today people call them bangers that are going to appear in this set. But these are ranked in how much I paid for them, and I did pay the price that is written on each one. If you can read the writing on here, his his penmanship is actually a little bit worse than mine. Actually, it's probably the same as mine, but when I write on my flips, I think I do a little bit of a better job. Here's where I wrote Philippe on this one. But we're going to start off with a €2 cent from Belgium, where in 2014 the monarch changed to King Philippe. And so if you don't have one of the newer Belgium coins, you may not have seen the new look of the monarch here. So obviously the portrait's going to be different, but also we have the monogram here is FP, and those started in 2014. This coin's from 2015, and he charged 25 cents for it. There is our standard €2 cent design. Next is a coin from Brazil that I usually don't find in this condition. This one's going to be Presidente Eurico Gaspar Dutra from 1956, 50 centavos, KM 563. All right, next we have a coin from China. This is a 10 cash coin. At the time, China had a lot of coins that looked about the same. All of them are very well worn, and it's difficult to find good details, or at least it's rare to find one where you can actually see the details on it. He had originally written the name of a province on this flip. I don't know where that came from as I look over it, but at the time, China, and we're talking the year 1907, at the time, China made coins that were Chinese wide. They were called the general issues, and then each province made their own coins, which were in many cases identical to the general issues, except they would have a mint mark, usually would appear in the very center here that would tell you which province issued it. So this one is Y10.5. This is considered good condition. And one thing that makes this version different is there are 4 dots dividing the legend. So between the words, there's a dot there, and very well worn, but one up there, and one up there. You can't really even see that one at all. So this is the 4 dot variation of this coin. On this side, we have a dragon. Took me a while to remember which side is up on this coin, which is labeled good condition. It's a dragon that's all kind of twisted around. This isn't really the best coin to show it off, but it's holding a pearl in the middle. Some variations have to do with how many flames are coming off the pearl in the middle, but we don't have to worry about that one. There also are some words written in our alphabet which go around the edge here. Sometimes they can help tell you which province issued it, but the only word I can really read off of here is tequio. All right, so a lot of these Chinese coins, well worn, hard to understand what they're saying. Next, we're going to switch to Cuba. And this is a design that if you see a design like this, whether it's 5, 2, 1, usually you're going to find the older versions of these coins because the older versions are We're talking 50s, 40s, 30s are actually, I think, a lot easier to find than the modern circulating version of the coin. Most of the coins you find from Cuba these days are going to be what they would call the tourism coins, where there's almost a parallel economy over there. There's the coins that you use, the tourism coins, but then the locals would be using, or the residents of Cuba would be using the coins that look like this. So KM 2002, by this point, it was already made out of aluminum. So it's KM 34. And here's just the shield of Cuba on the side, 5 centavos. KM 34. Here is a modern commemorative coin from Canada. This side has the one of the newer portraits of Queen Elizabeth and the P mint mark, which appears at the very bottom. And I couldn't really read his handwriting on this one, but it is KM 628. He calls it AU 50, although there's kind of a big gash on that side, but he also charged less for this one than I would normally get this coin for. So we flipped this one over, and I decided to make better notes on this side since I can read. I slow down for my handwriting when I'm writing on something like this. So this is a really intricate, nice looking sailing vessel here. I really like the look of this one. I'd never noticed this one in the catalog before. So the name of this sailing ship is the, I guess that's pronounced Bonne, maybe Bonne-Renommee. I don't know French, so I'm guessing at the pronunciation there. And then it honors the 400th anniversary in 2004. The first settlement, Isle St. Croix. I guess that's how you pronounced the name of the settlement, which I've written right here. I'm not even sure if that's ILE or LLE or what we've got going on there, but that's just how I've written it down. So really happy to find that one. I've bought several other commemorative quarters from Canada from him for 50 or 60 cents, and to get that one at 30 cents, I'm happy with it. Now for something older, we have this well scratched up coin from Chile from 1898, KM 146A. Another Chile coin with the Santiago mint mark right here, large S with a tiny little O on top of it. The A on this coin means that it's made from copper. The older versions are copper nickel. Then here we have the economy is riqueza, un centavo. Here is a coin from China's Republic. So he wrote Y29. I have an older catalog maybe that called this Y355. So the value of this coin is either called 1 cent or they also called it the Fin. It's going to be year 29. We've got a 2, a plus for 10, and meaning 20, and then a 9 right there, which is going to translate to the year 1940. We flip it over, and this is one of those coins which honors the historic spade-shaped coins which were used centuries, if not over a millennium ago. Next we have I believe this is a 1-year commemorative from Colombia. This one honors Jorge Elieger Gaitan. In 1965, 20 centavos, KM 224. He gives it an MS60 plus. The details are pretty sharp, although the coin does seem to have some discoloring to it. So 20 or 20 centavos, KM 224. Next we have a coin from France, the 2 franc coin, pretty similar to this one. the one that circulated throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. However, this one is a one-year commemorative when we flip it over, honoring Jean Moulin. I don't know if he's the founder of the Moulin Rouge or who he is, but I did think that was an interesting half of a portrait here. One-year commemorative of 1993. My book says KM 1062. I scratched out his number because I couldn't read it. Thought that was an interesting pickup for 60 cents. We've got another coin from Bulgaria here. This one honors the university games at Sofia. So the Bulgarian coins uses Cyrillic, so I can't really read that, but it is a 50 statinki coin from 1977. It's going to be KM 98. So it reminds me of something Olympic, but this one is, I guess he's running with the flag on this one. That doesn't quite look like a torch with flames coming off of it. But there we have the kind of the communist looking logo of Bulgaria on here with the lion inside the wreath with the dates of 681 and 1944. There's your 50 statinki. So I believe this one was a one-year commemorative. We're going to move to Australia. We've got a 50 pence coin. So this side with Queen Elizabeth looks like what we're used to. But you flip this one over and it honors the marriage of Charles and Diana. So 50 cents. And then around the edge, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales and Lady Diana Spencer. And their wedding was in 1981. So this might be my third or fourth coin featuring their wedding. The most easiest one to find is probably the British crown. But here's another one that was actually a circulating coin. I don't know if I have any other circulating coins of Charles and Diana. For our next coin from France, this coin right here honors the 200th anniversary of the French Republic. And so for 1 year, they have given this 1 franc coin a throwback design to what coins looked like 200 years before. Now, I believe this logo at the bottom might be new to this one, but otherwise it has kind of an old look to it. This is going to be 1992, KM 1004.1. And the 0.1 means this coin is made out of nickel. There are some really hard to find gold and platinum versions of this coin, but here we have also a lettering and wreath look that also is quite the throwback. Here with the just the numbers or the 1 franc written on it with Liberty, Equality, Fraternity written on the back. Here is a coin for the Congo Democratic Republic featuring a lion, and they appear to have several coins that they made this year which were commemorative, all featuring animals. 50 centimes. They at one point must have been ruled by the French because they do keep the Congo franc and centimes, dated 2002. It's KM 123. Now, unlike the other ones which had an animal on it, this one also features a person on the other side. And so I believe that name is Verny El Camerion, discoverer of Congo. So KM 123. This one took me a while to figure out what was going on, even with everything he had written up here. It is very well worn, so it's kind of difficult to see, but about all you can see on this side is a rooster, and when you flip it over, again, you have some very well-worn, maybe Arabic, maybe a different language here. But this is from a country which would today make up part of Malaysia. It is located on the Malay Peninsula, and it was a place at the time called Malacca, Malacca. The value here is 1 keping, This is when they were controlled by the British. So it is KM 8.1. Almost good condition. You know you're dealing with something pretty bad when it's almost good. So they didn't make, obviously they didn't make a whole lot of coins. There was this coin had a couple of variations, and there was a 2 Kaping coin that was made at the time. It's made out of copper, and it's called the British administration of Malacca at the time. There's my handwriting. So the date on this coin, the only year it was made, which the date appears here, was 1247 on the Arabic calendar, which means on our calendar it was 1825. So first time I'd ever even heard of Malacca. Next we have a 20 shilling coin from Austria, or as they call it, Österreich. Now the 20 shilling coins were, they usually would have a different commemorative feature on them every year. And just in exchange value, this one's going to be worth $1.54. So me paying $2 minus 10% got this at almost exchange value. So this was from 1982, KM 2955.1, because Austria has quite the number of coins over the years. I'm going to flip this one over, and it features composer Joseph Haydn. Now, unfortunately, the cool side of this coin is pretty beaten up. It almost looks like it was glued to cardboard and then ripped off of there. But it celebrates the 250th anniversary of the birth of Haydn in 1732, and so the coin was made in 1982. There are 2 variations of this one, and this is the variation that has edge lettering. So the problem with putting them in flips is you can't really read that. The other version, I believe, is a plain version. To get this color, it's copper, aluminum, nickel. Next we have a coin from Finland. This is going to be 10 penniä from 1900. Someone made a note on here that if this was very fine condition, it would be $10, and there was 500,000 of these coins made. This comes from a time when Finland was its own semi-independent, but under the rule of Russia during the reign of Nicholas II. So we've got a kind of a stylized N with a 2 on here. I guess they called it the Grand Duchy from 1900. So had $10 on the back here. They're calling it fine condition. Someone originally wanted to sell this for $7, had that scratched out, and I paid $2 for this 10 penniä coin, KM14. This one really threw me for a loop, and I just thought it was a neat coin, and finding coins from France is from the 1900s keeps getting tougher to find. And it's like, well, I'd never seen this French coin before, especially when we start on this side. We've got Chamber of Commerce, 1 franc. I've seen Chamber of Commerce coins. The only place I've ever seen that from is France, but this one says Evreux on it. We flip it over. This side also says Evreux. So this comes from a time where I thought this mostly happened in Germany, but apparently it happened in other countries as well, where there was a emergency low supply of coins. That kind of sounds like something that happened in the United States just in 2020. But at the time, other places were allowed to mint coins. And so Evreux decided to make their own 1 franc coins, and just generally around, people assumed that you could spend them just like you could the official French coins. The problem with this one was it looked too similar to the actual French coin of the time, which also said Chamber of Commerce on it. So they had to discontinue this one after, I think it had been produced for about 10 days when the French government said you have to stop. It looks too similar to the rest of our coins. So they gave them about a month to stop producing them, and then they could still spend them for a few months. So I thought Germany was the most common place to find not geld coins, but French had a few of them also. They are usually not going to appear in the Krauss catalogs because it wasn't actually made by France. Although this one does, because this one must be one of the most common ones you'll be able to find. There's actually a catalog written in French, which translates to money of necessity. And so this is given coin 10.4 out of that catalog. Next coin is going to be from Mexico. So another coin that is in almost good condition. We've got a floating angel with a radiant cap. This coin was made from 1836 to 46. I'm going to have to fix my date on here. Made out of brass. The date is too well worn that you can't read it. This is under the Mexico part of your 1800s catalog with a KM number of 367. But it comes from a time when each state of Mexico would sometimes make their own coins. And so this was produced in Zacatecas. This is a 1/4 real, where you had the 8 real, which is about the size of a US dollar. And then as things get smaller, you've got the 4 real, which was the size of a US half dollar. The 2 real was the size of a US quarter. The 1 real was a little bit bigger than a US dime. And so this is 1/4 of that, made out of copper. So all those previous coins I mentioned were all silver. So when then you get to the copper coins, which were back to being large size again. Flip this one over. And so we have, the catalog just says this is a monument. Doesn't really say where that monument is or which monument is, but around the edge, and it's kind of cut off here because of how it was minted, but it would say the Departamento de Zacatecas. So it's something I'd never seen before. I thought that one was pretty interesting. Here we have another coin from Chile. This one is silver from 1879. It's a 20 centavos coin. Por la razón o la fuerza. 50% silver, so that gives an average silver weight of 0.0804 ounces. 1879 is going to have a Santiago mint mark on the other side, and KM 138.2. Let's flip it over. Here's where it says República de Chile. So the 0.2 version of this coin has a couple of things that are different about it. First of all, it has this 0.5 here, which just demonstrates the fineness of the silver as 50%. That was not on the previous version of the coin. Next to it is our Santiago mint mark. And another variety which appears in this coin is how it has 20 cents for centavos, but it's abbreviated. The S here is smaller and would, on the other version, has a tiny little dash under the letter S on that version of the coin. So this one I paid $4 for it. It has about $2 worth of silver in it, so that's pretty good. This next one, you look on this side, you probably haven't seen it before, but you don't know what it's going to be. And let me cover up all the words for just a moment. You've got the word Colombia on it, Republica of Colombia, 1921 at the bottom, and then Lazareto in the middle. Have you ever seen a Lazareto coin before? Well, as it turns out, this is special coinage for use in the 3 government leper colonies. So Lazareto is, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Lazareto is essentially the word for leper colony. And so I think it was interesting here how this flip has a different writing on it, because another dealer that I've purchased from in the past wrote this flip, and this guy bought it for $350 and raised the price to $675. So I think that's kind of funny, but I was willing to pay $675 for it, so he knew what he was doing with that. So 1921, somewhere on here is the RH mint mark. And see, these, when they were produced, they were in circulation for about 30 years or so within the leper colony. The leper colonies closed in the 50s. And then they were given a small window to cash them in for regular Colombia money. And so probably most people didn't want to hang on to them as souvenirs, which is why they're so difficult to come out with right now. But one thing that's different about the KM number is it's given an L10. I guess L for Lazareto or leper or something like that. So there's only a couple of countries out there that actually had leper colony coinage, and so Colombia is one of them. Now we're going to move on to a larger silver coin featuring the 10th European Athletic Championships. Hosted in Helsinki, so that is the country of Finland, 1971. This is a 50% silver coin, so it has a silver weight of 0.389. Flip this one over. Suomi, Finland, 10 marka. MS 63. For the condition on here, KM 52, I did pay $10. Actually, I paid $9 since I got 10% off on here. And this one probably has, let's see, just doing some quick math, it probably has more than $9 of silver in it. So I probably got this one for maybe a smidgen under spot. So I really like finding that one. And then for our final silver coin, we've got a German coin here. This one is one of the newer German commemorative coins that I have. 1995 with a J mint mark above the 0 on the 10 mark. Right there, there's a J. So this looks like an eagle that's made out of bricks, and I think that's kind of an unusual, interesting design. Flip this one over, and it has a church building with a kind of a dome and I guess a steeple on top, where the dome is made out of words. So don't speak German, but I know that I think Jari means like the 50th year anniversary. So it's kind of, I wrote it down here what this coin commemorates, the 50th anniversary of peace and reconciliation. So let's see, this was made in 1995, so that means that it commemorates the 50th anniversary of something that happened in 1945. So this probably has something to do with the end of World War II and what happened after that. This one also has some edge lettering that says Steinern Glock symbol für Toleranz. So kind of an interesting design on here. So other notes, this one is 0.625 silver, which gives it a little over 3/10 of an ounce of silver. So another coin that I paid $10 for this one. And so just doing the math in my head on this one, it's probably closer to $7 to $8 of silver on that one. So 10 marks. KM 185. All right, so I picked up a lot of good things at that show, and all of these were from one dealer. Everything that we looked at today, plus about 10 coins from the previous video, all had a combined value of, or sales price of $50. He knocked 10% off since I spent $50. So everything you saw here cost $45 today. All right, thanks for watching. I have some more videos from the same show. They're going to come up in the next few weeks. All right, bye.